Brian Whitworth, BW Promotion, hashtag BE00TAKE00. Rolling into the water box in the 1988 Oldsmobile Cutlass, DragCoverage sponsored L-Stock Automatic. He is PJ North. Killing you bastards. He's about the quick money, so we showed up in the dragsters. But I've been known to wheeling with doors. Your street Mustangs fast, that's cute. Bring it to the track and get yours. I wield everything on four wheels, and I don't split, so don't ask to make deals. I want the Wallies and the big checks, and bring it second round. If you want next, I bump it in, then I bump down. And if I'm better than 10, then I suggest that you bow out, cause I'll be sure to close it up. I'm 000 with the stripe, woo, but not close enough. Lay on the spray to get around me, cause all we do is eat, sleep, whomp, and repeat. I'm a student of the game, that's the king about mine. I fear no one, not even sunshine. No laydowns and no favors. Face me loose, help you load your shit back on that trailer. I mean, we all have haters, self-proclaimed top 5 bracket racers. Everybody's got a rhythm, and some of us have it, some don't have it in them. Some aren't ready to be outdriven. I'm working my way to the top to doing this shit for a living. If you want that money, be double out. And if you want that trophy, take double out. And if you wanna be a winner, be double out. And if you wanna be a champ, take double out. Be double out, take double out. Be double out, take double out. Be double out, take double out. Be calm, be double out, take double out. Woo! I'm no Luke Bagacki. 66 Chevelle can't really be mad at me. Foot breaking in the cutty when I'm racing. Don't make me lock him up, man, I'm so Nick Hastings. Didn't see Slate Cummins in the mirror. I showed up at the door, throw the anchor out and disappear. Black and yellow like I'm TJ Coughlin. Super gas rolling, I'm riding super confident. Watch for that double O, leave you no option. Except for the stripe, you can have it, it'll cost them. I'm Dodge material, call me Craig Mack. All the winners got a Leonard and Kevin Bohannon back. Started in a junior, now I'm in a stalker. Always had a big head, I'm such a big talker. I mean, Billy, who's been schooled by a Richardson? Only matters how many winners circle pictures you win. I'm at the spring fling, trying to cash in. Hog it up and you're just another victim. Cobra Jets, Copo, and drag packs. I show up with a ride, just show me where the cash at. To the local yokels, stay trying. And to the big money drivers, stay driving. And to the whiners and the losers who say they spin, you can't hack it, you won't ever win. If you want that money, be double out. And if you want that trophy, take double out. And if you wanna be a winner, be double out. And if you wanna be a champ, take double out. Be double out, take double out. Be double out, take double out. Be double out, take double out. Be calm, be double out, take double out. Knock the tree down, carry the thing with me. Can't win if you know better than 50. No chance if you holding the 10th, cause we will get to the stripe and you will get sent. It's all about getting the dub, and no trophy, no cash means you get no love. You can't drive, then you will be marked. Stay away from my team or you will get parked. If you want that money, be double out. And if you want that trophy, take double out. And if you wanna be a winner, take double out. Be double out, take double out. Be double out, take double out. Be double out, take double out. Be calm, be double out, take double out. What? This is a Brian Whitworth BW Promotion, hashtag BE00TAKE00. Belts tight, gloves on, shield down, so the love's gone. I bump it in, I'm getting to the rhythm. No friends out here, we turn the stage lights on. I'm at the finish line, and then we miss y'all. You hit the top, shout out huddle, figure the wrist off. I let it go and it's lift out. Talking about me, y'all when it ain't make the list, it's got them all pissed off. Call me Kevin Helms, I was brought in to win. Word to West, Buckles making drag racing great again. I like my racing in straight lines, stay in my lanes. Quit my day job and chase the world like I'm Pelican. Or I'm switching gears like I'm chick with a stick. Or stand a man, and margaritas got you feeling it. I'm talking woosah, by you boys do it big. come out like the world champ. You've been waiting all winter long, hearing them go on and on, just so you can prove them all wrong. Only thing that matters is who turns the big and on. This thing on your mind when you wake, and you've been waiting on this thing all day. This is where champions are made. Let them all talk, baby, haters gonna hate. Everyone trying to doubt you, huh? Better get off them. All this black and yellow like I'm born to be a Coughlin. They think they got you, then stop them. And if you ain't smoke them, did you really even drive them? You think you locked them up? You know nasty Nick. Drop the nose, take the strike. Nah, that's the trick. We all have the same thing in common, let me tell them. Object of the game, reel them in and drop them on they melon. Do I talking at the track? Keyboard race is absurd. We talking street outlaws, then bird is the word. If we talking alcohol, then we talking Yanni Lindbergh. Talking hotties that can drive Musi, Ashley Sandberg. The real queen of this thing is WWTR. I call him Shaker, you call him Joey Santangelo. Wanna lock it in, 5K and we can go. We don't hear him now, but things was all good just so we can go. You've been waiting all winter long, hearing them go on and on, just so you can prove them all wrong. Only thing that matters is who turns the big and on. This thing on your mind when you wake, and you've been waiting on this thing all day. This is where champions are made. Let them all talk, baby, haters gonna hate. Trophies and Happy Gilmore checks, loose rock paying it. Judging by the winners, they tell who's up next. I just happen to be one of them, just in case you wanna check my ranks. And this is a way of life, you're yelling, be somebody. Do your Edmund or go be Scotty. Ryan Shield, that is, it's Cuddy to the front. Jeff Taylor performance for everybody. Helmet all done up, that's R&R paint. I'm trying to double up like I'm a young Jimmy DeFrank. 98% mental, the science ain't exact, but if you wanna win, call Ricky Jones, get it from quarterbacks. You see the daylight, that margin better be closing. I'm racing's Jay-Z to anybody who knows me. I'm holding, no showing, and they should know it. I'm just trying to be raps, Anthony Bertozzi. Making it big, A.J. Thomas and Mav Hollingsworth. Running a pair of Alaris, that's a good way to get your feelings hurt. It's VP Racing Fuels, for winners, not losers. Make the right choice, we know champs wear Hoosiers. Thing about racing is love, is what we do it for. At the end of the day, the only thing that matters is who's holding the gold up, turning the electric on, and plus they ride on the dance floor. You've been waiting all winter long, hearing them go on and on, just so you can prove them all wrong. Only thing that matters is who turns the big and on. This thing on your mind when you wake, and you've been waiting on this thing all day. This is where champions are made. Let them all talk, baby, haters gonna hate. Ready to be outdriven, I'm working my way to the top to doing this shit for a living. If you want that money, be double out. And if you want that trophy, take double out. And if you wanna be a winner, be double out. And if you wanna be a champ, take double out. Be double out, take double out. Be double out.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the BE00TAKE00 show. I am not solo, but we are working on a few things with Tyler. He will join us in just a few minutes, so join us along here as we get it show started. Welcome back. It's BE00TAKE00 episode number 14. We made it this far. I can't believe it. I figured I'd ask myself because I know Tyler what he'll say. He can't believe it either. But lucky number 14, Chase Briscoe, I suppose. We got a lot to talk about, but before we get into all that, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button if you are watching live alongside us here on YouTube. Just hit that little subscribe button. Make sure you, that little buzzer, that'll tell you, the little bell, that'll tell you when we're live. Our times have changed a little bit, 30-minute time slots here in the last couple weeks with everything going on with all the races, but we'll try to keep it, like I said, on Tuesdays, so make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. If you're listening on iTunes or Spotify, don't forget to leave us a review. Let me hit that record button. Look, man, I'm without Tyler, I'm lost already, but let me go again here. So welcome to the BE00TAKE00 show here, episode number 14. I am your host, PJ North. We are joined shortly by young Tebow. We're just waiting on, he's got some video issues, but we are gonna get there. So before we do that again, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button if you're watching live with us. Let us know in the chat here. Let us know some questions that you'd like us to answer tonight. Tonight's kind of a freestyle. We got a bunch of things to catch up on from the weekend, but we want to throw out some ideas. So if you've got some questions for myself or Tyler and you'd like us to answer it, let us know in the chat. If you're listening on iTunes or Spotify, don't forget to leave us a review, share with your friends, tell everybody you know, and don't forget to share with everyone. On Facebook, obviously, you can tag myself at the PJ North on Instagram and Facebook, all of those things. Jim Fouts is here, Ray, don't you worry. Yeah, man. So as we wait for Tyler, I'll get into a little bit for myself. Obviously, if you guys do follow me on Facebook, I posted that I was changing a transmission in my Chevelle. Man, I'm learning so many things. It's so funny because if you ask a question, and I'd like to pose this, if any of you guys are class racers or have used Class Racer website, they are not super helpful or like nice about it. It's like it's a much older version of Yellow Bullet, but like they're just like not kind. Anyways, so I posed the question on Facebook and I was struggling. I was like, these mounts aren't the same. Everyone's like, they're the same. I'm like, they're not the same. Then I realized quickly how dumb I am. Thanks to Matt Champion, turned out that I did not have the mount on the turbo. It is still shorter, and so you do have to adjust the crossmember mount, but I'm learning so many things, obviously becoming a mechanic in my age now. So, and Jason, I'll tell you, I did have the over-under was like 100. And I don't think I really cursed at all. To get it out, to get the transmission out, it's really not that bad. The few bolts, nothing's crazy on there. However, once I got done, I realized my drive shaft is too short. It's about 2 inches too short. So, much like Ohio State fans, my drive shaft comes out 2 inches too short. But I'll get there. So, no F-bombs, man. The under. If you took the under on the F-bombs this weekend, that was a smart idea to do. So, yeah, we're making progress on the Super Stocker. Obviously, we've got the Twin 50s this weekend, which we'll talk about. And then next weekend, I have the Verge race at St. Louis. So a lot of things going on within a busy schedule here with TB Promotion. So I won't be able to race the next 2 weekends. But I will hopefully have it back ready for Memorial Day. Obviously, the National Open, what they call it, right, at BG used to be Sport Nats. Now it's just an open, but they've got the Clay Jones Memorial 5K. They've got a 5, also stock, super stock, all the super classes. It's a huge, great time. Obviously, Friday they have Test and Tune. They've got day at the park, Beach Bend. So we're going to hit that in a couple weeks. Can't wait to do that. That should be exciting. Hopefully everything will be back together. I had to order a bunch of parts, per usual, right? Just because nothing's easy, right? I just want something to be like, oh, I can put this in and that's it. But obviously with drag racing, that's never how it works out. And so, it'd be like that sometimes, but what do you do? In other news, like I said, Twin 50s this weekend, Tyler working hard. So we'll see what happens, to get ready for that. Walt, thank you. I'm excited. Look, everyone, when I put the metric, I'll never forget this. I had the Cutlass. Obviously we'll tell this quick story. I had the Cutlass. When I first got the Cutlass, it had a turbo 350 in it. Had turbo 400 in it. Also had a reverse pattern turbo 400. I knew nothing about any of this, right? All I'd ever done is bracket raced, 2 shifts, 1-2. That's all I ever had. So I get this Cutlass out of Texas. The first race I go to, I'm hand shifting it, right? I'm in stock, so you got to hand shift it. And I grab third immediately because I'm like not ready for it to do a wheelie. And I just grab third immediately. So all that to say, so then I get this thing together. Everyone's like, oh, metric's going to pick you up. Metric's going to pick you up. So I get a metric, and it picks me up a little bit, but it's not like a lot. I mean, it's a lot and like kind of, but it's not that crazy. However, people are thinking, Kenny, my motor builder, Kenny Schindler, thinks 2/10. I'm like, I don't know, man. I think 1/10. So if I go in the 50s or maybe the 40s, that'd be cool. I'd love to say it'll go in the 40s, like low 40s. That'd be sick. If I just go out there and go like 44. That'd be cool, man. Just to go 70 under in super stock would be kind of fun. I've never been 70 under in super stock. I've been 50 under or 60 under maybe, but nothing crazy like that. So I'm interested to see, but I got this turbo 350. It's got a 275 low gear. I'm fixing to hopefully, my main thing is it going to do a wheelie? I just want it to get out of its own way at the start. So I hope, and I hope that that's what happens. Man, Walt, yours picked up 2/10. I love that. Is there any other class racers in the chat? Let us know, man. What does your car's pick up if you've gone from a glide to a 3-speed or went from a 3-speed to a torque flight or pro flight or whatever? I had a Pro Trans in my modified car, and I kept burning up the drums. So I was like, man, I'll gladly give back whatever tenth this is faster to just not having to keep replacing this aluminum drum. I was over it. I don't know. But luckily, I'll tell you what, the one good thing is I did have that shifter from my Cutlass still here. So it's reverse pattern. This Turbo 350's reverse pattern. I ordered an air shifter from Biondo, or Shiftnoid, actually. Shout out to Shiftnoid. I ordered it from them. So we'll put that in. Hopefully it'll be easy. The one good thing I will say this, I'm not like a super fan of the Cheetah because I don't think it looks cool. And like part of super stock is they kind of look cool, right? However, they are massively universal. Like you can make one go forward pattern to reverse pattern with just a different gate. You can, the covers are universal for their SCS shifters, all of that stuff. And they make all that stuff. So I will give them that. That part's really cool because they're super universal. So I'm going to put this in, like I said, next week. I hopefully the rest of the parts will be here when I go to St. Louis, and we'll see what happens. Let's see. All right. Went from stock metric 3-speed to a McClay metric. 17 hun in your stocker. A 3-speed should be harder on parts. You know, that is my other main concern, if we're being honest with each other, is I don't love that it's going to be harder on parts. So I'm not super excited about that. Super stock's hard enough as it is, man. But I'm just testing it out for Jerry Holman, man. Shout out to Jerry who let me borrow it. Also, I will say my Power Glide has a lot of cool stuff. But I just found out this weekend, never even put two and two together, it has an internal trans brake. That's like 20 to 30 slower off the rip. So no wonder I got to leave when the second light goes out. So this new one, hopefully that'll make a little bit of difference. And hopefully it pulls the wheels out of the beams. And we'll see what happens. A McClay metric would be awesome. But they're hard to come by. I did see one for sale, but I just wasn't quite there to buy one. And all that to say, you know, we'll see what happens. I don't know. All right. Look who's joined us. Young Tebow. He hath arrived. We had some video issues, but we are back. Tebow, can you hear me?
Yeah, you got me.
I got you, baby.
Oh my goodness, how did this work? This worked. I was scared.
I love it when a plan
comes
comes together. Welcome to the show. Episode number 14. Tebow, I've been telling him horror stories about my inability. You know, it's crazy. I should have led with this. I got karma immediately because I immediately texted Tyler when someone's trying to tell me the difference between a tail shaft housing and the transmission housing. I'm like immediately like, I'm dumb, but I'm not that dumb. And then I immediately got humbled when I realized I forgot that the pad was what the problem was. So technically they are different. And yes, the mount is on the tail shaft housing on my Power Glide and it is on the 3-speed. However, they were partially right. The pad is universal. I just didn't take it off the Power Glide and I wasn't paying attention. So there you go. So cross member issue resolved.
The rubber mount is a problem.
Yeah, so the mount, mount is on the Power Glide. However, when I'm looking at the Power Glide, I'm like, this doesn't match. I'm thinking in my mind, I'm forgetting that the rubber pad setup is there, that the actual mount is on this Power Glide. I'm not even thinking of that. So I'm like, these holes do not match up to this turbo. I don't know what everybody's talking about, but they're not the same on the cross member. So yeah. Oh, did we lose Tyler? There he is. He's back. I thought you were frozen there.
Is it I got a problem?
You just Wi-Fi. Yeah, you're frozen a little.
Well, yeah, the Jeb and Megan done jacked my Wi-Fi, so I took it to St. Louis with them already. So I'm like working. I didn't realize that till I got here.
Okay, that's all right. Yeah. We're good. It's all gravy, baby. We're gonna make it happen. Let's get into it. We're gonna talk a little bit. Everything good? We don't have to go anywhere quickly. How was US 60? Everything okay? Obviously, we'll talk about your race this weekend, but how's everything going this week? You doing okay?
Well, you know, the stupid shit. The main computer for the tower. No issues with the AccuTime stuff, but the power switch in the HP computer just quit working. So we plugged the back computer in, mate, got it working to run the test session today, and we'll see.
What's crazy, I think AccuTime's the only one that works now on a new computer, right? All the other ones are like on old school DOS, and you have to like have 6 backups.
CompuLink,
right?
Yeah, CompuLink's on DOS. Portrade pretty sure it's on Windows actually now.
Mm.
But AccuTime's Windows based.
Yeah.
And
it's pretty
for
crazy
me, it's
to
way
think
better.
about. Yeah, no. I think, I'm really surprised with all that CompuLink does that they haven't tried to update. Obviously, it's a massive conversion. The main thing, though, my only concern is like parts wise. Like it's hard to get if my motherboard just goes down. Look, I've worked in IT forever, right? So like I've worked in database systems where we have servers that are like 40 years old, and that's just how it is. But in theory, to get parts for a racetrack CompuLink computer, you're like, you call whomever. Those companies aren't even in business anymore. You can't call IBM for parts, dog. Lenovo's not making your hard drive, for your old school computer. So
it's scary.
Yeah, but I love that AccuTime. I thought AccuTime was one of the few that's on the updated software. But all right, and obviously a lot of things. We're going to talk about Twin 50s and all the work you've been doing for the dragster. So we'll get into that. But let's kick it off with NHRA D5 Double at Worldwide Technology Raceway Park. Happened this past weekend. Let's start with your experience first, and then we'll go over some results.
Oh, well, we'll just put this the simplest way. I decided to go. I canceled my race at 60, decided to go racing. I'm going to have a good time. Showed up, made a time run, went exactly what I thought, pretty much ready to go. Feeling like I got a chance to win, and they just shit in my Cheerios right off the rip.
With the
19 and never had a chance.
Factory super stock D car. Was it or B? Was it B?
D.
Throws.
Yeah.
What was he?
It's
what did he
Ryan
throw down?
Montfort.
Yeah, it's Montfort, right?
He's
That's what I
7
thought.
total. Yeah. He was 5 dead too, and hey, the guy's really good. Okay, he is, and
I don't feel so bad about when I run against Logan. I'm like, whatever.
Yeah.
And then Tyler's like, oh, look at this shit. And I was like, ugh, yikes. It just gets worse and worse.
I will say, like, I guess something to take from it. And I'm going to be honest. I beat a lot of people in Superstock because they have no discipline.
Yeah,
like
1,000%.
That you could bracket racing, they're disciplined. Their shit's good. You're not going to really get people out of their ways. Superstock, it's like playing with a bunch of kindergartners in their heads. They suck at the mental game.
Anytime
okay?
you throw like a
you can make them
curveball
do a
at
lot
them.
of things.
Yeah.
Montford, nah, son.
I ran Chris Vang. Is it Chris Vang? Is that no Chris? Yeah, Chris. Yeah, he was running Montford's car last year at St. Louis, and I ran him. Luckily, he blew the tire off, but I did throw down. I mean, I was like 11 up front, so it's fine. I was like, yeah. But that car is badass. That car is like, that's one of the few, not one of the few, I shouldn't say that, but those Copos have like come around so dramatically in the last couple years, it feels like. Like, they made such a huge swing. They're fast. They're not only are they fast, they're under the index side, and they're good race cars. Like, they do have that small, I think when you get into the power, the supercharged ones or those type of shit, you're gonna run into obviously blowing the tire off at 8 a.m. in the morning if you're first pair out in super stock. But like
Vang runs his is a blower deal. Is that Kramer's car or something?
No, he was driving Montford's last year when I ran him.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Because Montford ran the national and then Vang ran the divisional.
Gotcha.
But
that's a bad unit. He was driving Todd's car. That was it. The beige one that he drove last year.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's Patterson car or whatever. That thing's mean.
Sick. Yeah, they're badass.
I mean, like I said, I was holding the pile and started at half track, kind of backing into him, and he didn't care. He rolled up, killed whatever he had to kill, and landed it low dead on.
Hello.
I mean, he still had something to kill, and I was trying my best to get him to stop, and he wasn't having it. And he killed what he needed to.
Sure.
And he's like, I don't know if you really know much about him, but
I know he's a good drag racer.
He's like multi-time D5 ET Series champion. And,
oh shit! Okay.
Yeah,
very
bad
cool.
dude.
Very cool. Yeah, they. I mean, obviously tough sledding out there. Did any of the camp that you were hanging out with have luck at all?
No, Labousse was. So we Super Comp ran at like 9:30. Our opponent's 8 dead 1. I run at 10:12. My opponent's 5 dead 2, and I was out by 10. I was out the gate by 10:32.
Okay. Tough sledding out there, baby.
Yeah, and I showed up late. I showed up for the second race. Yeah, I don't know. I like the one and go kind of format. I could roll in for a day and get out. And
I mean, I think also it's like it plays into our bracket racing approach too. Of like, there's not a lot of sitting around. You're gonna figure it out pretty early and often. You know what I mean? I did see the ramp truck was back in full flex.
Yeah, too. I realized, by the way, that I drove over there at 1 o'clock in the morning, and it's on I-64, so you're just hauling ass.
Yeah.
Well, it used to shut off at like 95 mile an hour or something. So I was like rolling pretty good, and I just figured I was running 95.
Yeah.
I looked down, I'm doing 110 in this thing with the Camaro on the back. So
my
it was
God.
cool.
It was just hauling the mail.
Yeah, we got I guess after we did some work to it,
Yeah.
I guess I don't have a governor anymore.
Okay, sick. I didn't even know it could do that. I kept it
Oh,
at
yeah.
70, so I'm just
It
not.
was
I'm just
110.
not a big like. I'm not a big like drive fast on the road guy. I don't know why. I've never been that way.
Only the highway. I run 25 on the back roads.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't know, man. I can't. Obviously, I probably never had anything fast that could pull anything, as I've never done it. That's probably part of it. Yeah, I don't know. Some highlights from D5. Obviously, Strick doubled up. Strickland, he doubled up first day in stock and top dragster. Chris Whitfield got another one in super comp. Jordan
Speaking
Pratt.
of that,
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
yeah, well, Jordan Pratt too. Way cool. See him win.
Yeah.
But Whitfield's sitting on like over 500 points. So
Yeah, he's starting to haul the mail over there. He's got it.
Yeah.
Not haul the mail. He's starting to run away with it, I should have said.
somebody better shut it down because
he makes good, and that's a good race to win too, man. That D5 opener. Obviously, I like St. Louis's approach to that too. They're obviously in the middle. They can get a lot of people. It's a great facility. It makes sense to have the doubles there. So, Jordan Pratt got it done in super comp on the second race. That was a cool one. Nathan Prose, another final for him in super gas. So that's like 3, right, for him now?
Well, yeah, and he did hit. Well, is that counting last fall?
Oh, I'm sorry. I was just okay.
See, I don't know. I really don't know because I know he won. Did he win the Indy Divisional? Okay. Did he maybe win the week before that too at the spring whatever? See, that's me. Hunter was talking about it yesterday, and I guess I haven't paid attention enough to the results from the D3 Indy race.
Yeah.
And the race I was at. I mean, I did look at the race I was at, but not D3 at the Indy.
Yeah.
So I'll be honest. I was gonna ask you if you knew that because
I can't remember.
He could
off
have
the top
3
of my head.
finals.
That's what I'm saying. I don't know if that was before this. I think Indy was their first race. They ran the combo stuff earlier, or not the combo, but the Open at the beginning, and then I just know that he won obviously at Indy, and then he won.
He might have won the last 4 races he went to.
Yeah,
that's a possibility.
Man, absolute hammer. Oh, Montfort actually runnered up too. Actually, I just now realized I missed his name here. He runnered up, so he beat you and runnered up. He was dialed 890 in the final.
Who was Montfort? Yes.
Montfort,
so
yeah, it's super stock.
And I don't know if he staged in second or I don't know if he had it in the wrong gear, or if he had a wire fall off or what, but he rolled the beams, and then come back. That was the biggest problem. So I only drive over there. I mean, look, we've talked about it every week. I need to go to races and play out what I've started. So you look at the ladder. I know Montford's not the draw, but if you get by Montford, it lightens up.
Yeah,
okay?
Sure.
In a way, it can lighten up.
I know what you're saying.
I don't even know if it did or not, but it could have. And you got a 4th round bye into the semis. You know, at 5th round, those are points totals we'll take.
Yeah.
That kind of sucks. You know, you make a good run, which you'll lose making good runs. That's okay. But it's just the ones that, you were driving plenty good enough to win the next 3 or 4 rounds.
Yeah, it's tough.
Those things.
Yeah, those are the ones that are hard, right? When you see, that's I always say this too, is like, I am always, I don't ever, I don't, not that I don't ever, but like, there's a lot of times where my theory is I beat myself all the time. I should have done a better job. I should have done this. I should have done this. It's never like, hey, they did a great job. And I'm always like, but my last loss, obviously,
that makes it easier.
I did okay, but he just did an incredible job. And so, like, with you, it's the same situation. You're like, damn, I could have done this and beat everybody else, and I didn't do a good job here. And, like, that's I feel like a tougher loss sometimes, especially right now. Oh, Montford's trans brake button. Here's what happened. Walt said Montford's trans brake button fell apart when he pushed it and didn't realize it until he decked it. Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah, that'll get you.
Okay.
That's usually if I make makes it easy.
Yeah.
I put some pressure on myself, and knowing that I didn't make a mistake.
Yep.
Lets me get over it.
Yeah.
This one.
Yeah, I get it.
I play it back in my head, and I was holding 600 or 700s.
Yep.
And I started early, and I kind of just cut him in, and I had him close, basically made it even
Sure.
earlier than I had to.
Okay.
I feel like, and I don't know this, knowing the way that Ryan is and how disciplined I've already said he is, I really feel like he probably ends up dead on anyways. But if I drive it deeper and make a more aggressive later move,
Yep.
I feel like I can get him under a couple thou. And that puts me above. I mean, I know I'm under, but if I really, that's going to haunt me, because I do feel like if I just let the race play out a little longer, I've talked about you playing the race out earlier.
Yeah.
I needed to let it play out a little longer, be a little bit more aggressive late.
Yeah, especially because you're dialed not much slower than him. You're like 3/10 slower than him.
Yeah, it was 2/10, and when we went by the 8th, I was gapping him.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's racing the way I'm racing. You're going to be that way.
Yeah, 1,000%. Yeah, man.
Stuff.
It's I could see that one haunting a little bit. So yeah, NHRA D5 obviously, that's kind of a wrap for you right now, or you're still going to
I'm still gonna go to Maple Grove, I guess.
Yeah, Maple Grove. Okay.
I'm gonna see a couple weeks. We got we're off at 60. I'm gonna go. They got they got that combo.
Yeah, they got combo and then the open. Yeah, they got the 5K.
Yeah, or it's a divisional. Yeah.
Well, it's not a divisional; it just counts as an open, right? It just get a grading point.
I don't think so.
Yeah,
I ain't going if it's just a.
It's just a grading point. It's just the same as the National Open. It's not.
If it is, I ain't got.
Yeah,
that doesn't look good. I'm pretty sure it's a division.
I don't think so.
The open. Yeah, there's an open at Bowling Green that weekend with the 5.
Yeah, what are you talking about? You're talking about Maple Grove. Oh, Maple Grove is a divisional. I thought you were talking about Bowling Green. I was like, what do you mean it's a division? It's always been an open. What are you talking about?
Grove,
yeah, Maple Grove has that new video of the Herbie Null thing or whatever. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, 500 entry, 100% payback.
Yeah. That's the one that's the one Decker won last year, right? Same concept, more or less.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
That was a cool deal, with the way they separated. The way we did, they separated stock and super stock.
Yeah, and then you run in the final.
I like that.
Yeah, I think that's always cool too.
Yeah,
I also
until
think,
you get to one.
Till you get to one, right? I think Maple Grove also is one of the best track. Man, I went there a lot as a kid, obviously for the Eastern Conference Finals.
Oh, you're old.
Yeah, I am old as shit. But Maple Grove's awesome. I would love to go back, but it's a long haul for me right now. But all right. Farmington had some 25Ks. Shout out to Gary Williams. He got it done.
Yeah.
And I think also maybe Chris Crawford won the other 25K. I think there was 2 25Ks, right?
Who run it up? Did Joe Foley run it up? Maybe that's what I saw.
No,
I saw Joe did go one day or something.
Okay, I thought he was driving
Adam's truck, maybe.
Was it?
We might be back. We might be back in left field again, buddy. I might be.
I'll be honest with you, man. I saw like very little coverage other than the people I race with. So like people I know. Like I think that's a tough. Also, the fact that they got done and it was still light outside, I was concerned about how many people were there.
So, yeah, that sucks. Like KB. The thing about Big Money
was it
Bracket
Brandon?
racing
Is that
right
Brandon's race?
Yeah, KB was putting it on with the help of Jimmy Williams.
Okay, got it.
Yeah, that's the struggle with Big Money Bracket racing as a promoter, is there's a couple things that you can do, right? And it's big risk items, like big racetracks.
Yep.
They're, if you're putting it at a racetrack they ain't been to, or that's got got the feel to it, right? It's got the feel. They're all in.
Yeah.
And we learned that early on and took the risk and did it, but I mean, you gotta stomach it, because you're talking about
you're talking about taking a lick, dog. Yeah, you gotta be prepared for that.
Racetracks. I mean, there's a range, right? Like from the cheapest racetrack that I've had to the most expensive racetrack I've had. You're talking 50,000 swing.
Yeah. I think that's I've never been to the farm, obviously, in Farmington. And okay, I've pulled it now that I know it's Kevin. I couldn't remember the two. So Ernie Humes, first off, he won all 3 days of no box, per usual. Big Iron. Yeah. He just hammered him. Also, shout out to Britt Sinclair. He was on the mic all weekend. I'm a big fan of Britt, man. I like him a lot. He's a good kid.
I am too.
Okay, so I don't know who runnered up here. There's a lot of information in here, but it, like I said, G-Dub won. which is cool.
Good to see
there is a
G-Dub.
picture here of Gary running a Colorado. He's running against the Colorado. This is incredible. I never see this picture. We got to talk to Rabbit, man, because I got to get some information on K&J Promotion, seeing what their goal is and what they're doing. Obviously, Kevin's been putting on races over at Greer a lot. I know he's got a handful there because he's super close, and Maddox is like in the backyard of Greer. So I'd love to chat with old KB, and maybe I'll get with him when he's at our next race, and we'll chat with him and see, get some information over there.
Lock him down. Oh, and two things real quick while we're on the big money bracket race. Top.
Shoot it.
One, I'm sorry for you people who are listening to this and are either looking at me or listening to me and going, what is wrong with him today? I'm spun out.
Yeah,
okay.
he's got a lot going on.
I've slept 6 hours in 3 days. I have a car that's not done, and I'm going to St. Louis tonight. Anyways, and then the other thing, me and PJ are cooking up something, so y'all better tune in this weekend.
We're very excited. We're going to talk about that at the Twin 50s and how we're going to talk a little bit about the about that. Let's just talk about the Twin 50s, obviously, because right now we're talking about big money anyway. Twin 50s at Worldwide Technology Raceway Park this weekend, obviously sold out, which was crazy because that's, we sell out. Don't get me wrong. Like, we sell out of that. That's, and I say we in the sense of me, Tyler and Brian. Baby. You know what I mean?
Team.
It's not unheard of to sell out. That's not the thing. But to sell out Mother's Day weekend at St. Louis, this is an early. We've swapped the races around. This is huge. I'm very excited about. I love St. Louis too. Obviously, I think it's a great facility for what we're doing too. It's like laid out well. There's a lot of parking for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Exceptional. We're doing some cool stuff. Tyler and Brian have put together some super different stuff, and I think it's obviously the goal is to continue to make bracket racing and bracket races more fun for the racer. More intriguing for the viewer or the spectator. Our goal is to obviously, I've said this a bunch, is like, I know that there is a market for it, but you have to get people in. And
it's becoming a market.
Yeah, sure.
What I know, it's been a little over 15 years, Motor Mania, right? Like, he was doing the earliest 5 days that I remember would be like 11 or 12. I know he did some stuff before that. But like, not that it's becoming a market. It's been a market for 10 years. However, it's becoming like a big, it's becoming a market that is almost something that could be like people can make a living in it again. I've been wanting to talk about this, actually. I don't know if I mentioned this to you. But with the coverage that's being brought to it and the new ideas that, stuff like what we talked about today or what Peter's doing or big money bracket racing is starting to become a thing that, like, these racers might be able to get sponsorships again, that not maybe what they had, but this might be something to where people could make a living doing what they love again. And not just like some, right? Like not 10.
No, 1,000 per
50.
I think that I was going to say this, when you mentioned it, we'll just talk about it. We're going to do a very NASCAR style, NBA style, NFL. We're going to take the analyst approach to the race later on in the round, so make sure you check it out. We're also doing a roaming camera. We're going to be very in the sense of NHRA, in the sense of like we're going to talk to people in the pits, but we're going to do it live. No more me pre-programming. No more of that. We're going to be live in the pits, in the money round. We're going to talk to the people when they're cutting it up. I'm going to be down at the finish line talking to some people as things happen. We're doing a lot of different things to just make it a little more entertaining. You're watching. I know people who sit there and watch it for like 9 hours straight. Brother, I don't want I'll tell you right now, I don't want to watch 9 hours of dragsters go down the racetrack. I don't want to do it.
But if I had, so the worst part for me is like I get done with the day of being in the shop, whatever. I go sit on the couch. I'll watch it.
Yeah,
right?
1,000%.
Like if there's a race going on. But I cannot sit there between rounds.
That's my point, and we're trying to bridge that gap. I'm okay with even the commercial. So that's another thing, too. We got to talk about commercials.
Yeah.
Our goal, I think, as we elevate this sport, is to bring more eyes to those commercials, which means we can spend a little more on it. And I'm happy to, I'm not saying the commercials I do for the show, for MMTV, for Motor Mania, I do them with my stuff, with zero budget. Everybody's commercial I've ever done for anyone has been zero budget. If I even had $1,000 or $2,000 or $10,000. Our commercials should be better, right? It's like that
Well,
type of thing. And we're going to get there.
yeah.
To your point, with the more eyes, what I was saying today, what I was thinking when you mentioned that was, how many people are actually watching Get Up in the morning on ESPN? I'm having a legitimate conversation with myself this morning. Like, who is watching this shit other than in the gym? I'm being realistic with you. So let's say
Nobody's listening to it.
right. So let's say that I can get you, as a business owner, I can get you 1,000 people minimum right now, active audience. I'm not talking about partially watching. 1,000 people active right now. You're not going to tell me you're not going to spend that money, and that's outside of the business. You don't have anything to do with racers. You sell roofs, or you sell a toilet. I don't give a shit. Whatever it may be.
Right.
You have a direct access to 1,000 people. I think that's, and they're active.
Yes.
I don't see how we can't bridge that gap like you're saying. And that goes for sponsors for race cars, for TV, for video, for all of those things. That's right. So to your point, I agree with you.
If I thought, and Brian will probably cuss me tomorrow for this, but if I thought that I could take every sponsor that TB Promotions has, and those sponsors feel like there's racers out there that they could, that give them enough, give them enough to do what I do. Shit. Yeah. No sponsors. I'll have races, because like that's me, right? Like, this is what I love. And if you're telling me 30 more people can race for a living and see the things that I've seen and do the things that I've done, then hell yeah. And the commercial thing, like, it's not that I don't like
well, we're not talking about you bad, specifically. I know,
right?
I know what you're saying.
Well,
yeah, but I know what you mean.
It is the same 10 on each, every week.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. How do we I think there's a way to bridge that gap with the way that the business is going and the easeability of like being able to create those things. I think that there's like so much focus on social media for so long for these companies. They're like, how do we do? And I get it, right? And I totally get it. But what I don't, unless you're direct access to those people, even for me, like when I started, like, I wasn't just like some dude who posted on the internet. If you sponsored me, there's a good chance you're going to be in a song, and that song still exists to this day. Yeah. Like that, you know what I'm saying? Played. Yeah, so every day. I think like there's a different approach to things now, and there's availability.
Hold it up. Time out. PJ, at least you have that. Always remember that some song that you made does get played every day.
I know that's right. It's pretty wild, right? Pretty crazy.
Yeah, it's nuts.
It's pretty crazy. And I think that's what I'm saying is like there's this other ability for these racers. This video, now let's say that you sponsored, let's use Chris Whitfield as an example. He obviously has a business, right? Let's say he wants to expand the business. He's like, I'm going to sponsor another car, not mine. That car then races at 5 big money races. Those races are played constantly. Those viewerships are constantly there. Like, I think that there is a lot more return on value, ROI on a lot of these things. And that's what we're trying to, obviously, like I've said, is like, how do we make it cooler for people? I talked with this about Jerry Holman. Jerry watches, I sat and had a conversation with him last week when I picked up his transmission. He's like, man, I love the numbers, but like, does anyone else, like people who don't know what drag racing or don't know? And I was like, I agree. I think that if we could have like a good balance of these things, like for 9 hours, dude, I think there's a balance between all of this.
There is a balance, but this is so that balance is why the idea that I brought to you today.
Exactly.
You watch NHRA, they don't have the announcer playing.
Right.
They've got a broadcast team.
Yep, exactly.
So, and I don't want that for bracket racing.
No, but but to have it a little bit is nice.
Exactly. Like, give me the downtime. Yeah. And I do think that, like, if you follow the chat bleachers on Motor Mania a lot, those people who are just that community, right? Yeah. Like, they just watch wherever they're from, whether they taught themselves or whatever. Like, they want the numbers.
Yeah, agreed. 100%. I just think if we figure, and I think like guys like Britt Sinclair, guys like Gleghorn, guys like Jed, guys like JJ, all those guys, like, they get it, they make it. It still has to be entertaining value. Yep. Like Steve is another one. Like, he'll tell a story in between and all that stuff, and I think that's what I think we have a good opportunity as promoters and as workers and all of these things. And I think a lot of the listeners here, obviously you guys are listening to us talk about racing every week, which is crazy, right? It's cool. There's an opportunity for us to continue to broaden the sports horizons Very similar. Like I said, I don't think NASCAR is the only one, and I don't think F1 is the only one. I
Did
think
you see
that
Kyle Busch's comment about F1?
No.
I loved it.
What did he say?
By the way, the older I get, the more Kyle Busch fan I am. But
it's pretty wild how that works.
Oh shit! I saved it so I can tell you exactly what it was. But it's typical, Kyle Busch shit.
Well, I'll say this. I watched Flow this weekend while you're looking for that. I watched Flow this weekend for the high limit thing. I'm not a dirt track guy. I don't understand it, but I thought it was cool. Their production value and the stuff that they had outside of the races and to make the race kind of full circle and the stuff they do for the Cars Tour is really, really good. And I think we have that ability to do that with bracket races, with sportsman race. There is some ability now to do these things outside of the NHRA umbrella type of thing. You know what I mean? These other racer things.
And I don't think NHRA is looking for it's one of those things, right, where you're your parents got to let you figure it out on your own.
1,000%.
But I think NHRA wants other things to work because it's going to help them.
Whether or not they believe it, they need competition for sure.
Well, and I think they do know that, but they're not what are they going to
yeah, they're not out there preaching.
They're not going to go figure it out.
Yeah.
Kyle Busch said, Formula One reminds me a little bit of the Kentucky Derby. All the girls in hats and dresses, princess vibes.
I did see
Basically, he just shit on F1.
Yeah, I saw Dale Jr. was there too. We'll talk about F1 one day too. Yeah, Dale Jr. was there that was his first F1 race. I think the more that I'll tell you this, Netflix show does it for me. I was like, all right, I don't need to watch it all year, but I'll watch next year to see who won the championship. I'll watch Netflix show to do it. I don't know, it's good. I like it, but I don't know. We went way off on a tangent. Sorry, go ahead.
Well, yeah, and here's another crazy thing that after I say this, we can move on.
Yeah.
I got to the track today.
Yes.
I was like, why does the starting line look like dog shit? I know it's rain, but nobody's been on it.
Sure.
It's going to look like dog shit when I get done scraping it, but it shouldn't now. Somebody poured a puddle and did a burnout at the very least. And I mean poured a puddle, not water.
On the starting line, though? Why didn't they do it in the water box?
No, I don't know. I guess they made a run.
There's a whole ass water box.
I guess they made a run. I don't know. Some no prep jockey. I gotta breaking news. I don't know what it was. Hey, I gotta figure this out. You know what?
But... we were gonna, and I was gonna talk about DragCoverage Drag Fest. Now, just for that, I might not. I don't know. All right, that's funny. We'll get to that.
So, yeah, whatever.
So that happened at US 60. Okay. All right, to Robbie. Robbie did ask a question earlier, and that's where we're going to go here. NHRA division directors and division posts and all that thing are pushing the warm-up rule, and they have fined their own announcer $2,500, and he proceeded to put everything for sale.
So
I would love to know if Jesse is listening or does listen. Jesse, let me know your side of the story, or if you want to chat with us. I need to know. I'm obviously not mocking you or making fun of you. Don't take it that way. I just was like, damn, this fine came out, and now my guy's selling everything.
He did. He was at St. Louis, so he must have paid it.
Okay.
Right? Because that's how it works.
Good. Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah, that's good.
Here's my thing. I always, as a kid Jesse's age, especially in HRA racing, I felt like the tech department was out to get me every time I showed up.
Yeah, we all feel that way. 1,000%. Yeah.
I took the thing in my dash where it used to have heat and air sliders. It fell out. Okay. It's in the shop.
Yeah.
Well, you got to have it. Fuck you.
Yeah.
Okay. This, every week was something new.
Yeah.
And I can remember one of the first races that I was at, I pulled up to the lanes for Super Comp, and Edmund was behind me. And I was, kind of late or whatever, and just got out of the car, put my jacket on, with the car running.
Car's running, yep.
And Edmund came up and said, hey, I ain't getting mad at you. He said, but I'm just telling you, watch doing that. Because they get mad about it.
Yeah.
Or he said, definitely, don't, no trans brakes and all that. I'm like, really? Okay, whatever. And 10 years later, they're going to say something to somebody. I watch 80,000 people do this a year. And we're going to take the 19 or 20-year-old kid that did it. And, and maybe I wasn't there. I don't know what it was.
Same.
Okay. But I don't get it.
Yeah,
Okay?
I think
Like, if
obviously.
you're gonna do it, then you better find the next 50.
Yeah, I think my thing is like you always hear this, right? Anytime there's a first or like something like that, it's always, oh, we had to make an example of someone. It's like, yeah, but y'all had 15 years or 25 years to make an example of someone. Why'd y'all do it now? I get that part.
Make an example out of the 65-year-old who's literally, letting go.
Yeah.
Hell, I'll tell you. There was a guy, a super comp guy in Norwalk a couple years ago, who I watched on a jack stand deck his shit and let go of the button.
Yeah.
Okay?
Absolute chaos.
Watched it happen. I watched it with my own eyes. Ain't nobody finding that guy. And that's absurd.
Yeah, I don't.
It just bothers me. Like, I'm good with making an example.
No,
but
dude,
you can't make an example and not do the
part,
next
dude,
25 of them.
There was and this is really funny, but Max Scherzer, a pitcher for the Toronto Blue Jays, was in the dugout watching the game, and the umpire is like calling some strikes, calling some balls, and so they pan to Max Scherzer, and as the pitch goes down, he fake flips a coin like in the air. He like makes the motion, catches it in his hand, right? He's doing all this with no coin. He's just faking it, right? Looks at it and then sees it and then calls strike or ball. And like, he's insinuating that this ump is just abhorrently doing whatever. And I kind of think that that's how we feel about it too, because they're just not consistent about the certain things that they do.
It's judgment. And you hear NASCAR. Like, we listen to the same stuff, so
Sure,
we hear it.
yeah.
And like, it's kind of like you can't see every one of them, right? But like, is this
You
the
can't
first one
see
they've
everyone,
seen
but
check
yeah,
a trans brake?
that's my thing. It's like, that's a different story. You're talking about you can see it. You have 6 lane people yelling at people to pull forward. Don't tell me you haven't seen this before. I do think it's terrible. I don't think I hate it. When the people do the trans brake check,
yeah,
I don't like the
it.
trans
I'm not
brake
saying
check
I like
anywhere.
Yeah,
I don't
like
even
that shit.
trans brake check to make sure
I'm
it
scared to
works
death.
before I go up.
Well,
I'm just
yeah, like
assuming
maybe
it works. You know what I'm saying?
Maybe I'll do it in neutral or park or something just to make sure the
you might
two-step
make sure
works.
it works in your pit where you're like, oh, let me just check this.
Yeah,
But
and I'm not decking
like,
it.
yeah, I'm not going wide open. I'm just making sure the car doesn't move.
Yeah.
And I don't know. So
really,
what
are you checking?
Yeah, so
if
I
you
don't
don't
know.
warm the converter up, just bring it up at a foot brake.
Yeah, that's where I'm. So I think, like I said, all in all, I'm with you. I think that it is silly to fine him if he's making maybe he was cool with them making an example of it because he has been an employee. He's an announcer. He announced at Indy.
Now so maybe that's the thing, right? Maybe that is a difference. So maybe it is, hey bud, you can't be breaking blatant rules and working for the NHRA.
Exactly, and that's cool.
We're already letting you race, which I know I didn't know that, but there's like a thing there, I guess. With
well, so that's the thing is I don't know if he is hired by the racetrack or by the NHRA. I don't know.
Thing or whatever.
Exactly.
And I'm pretty sure they made it a thing where it's NHRA full-time employees anyways, like salary,
which is whatever, dude.
Whatever.
They can't control the starting line when they're in the car. I don't care. So it's like they should all be able to race if they want. So I don't know. But Jesse Fritz, man, if you're listening, like I said, we'd like to know your side of the story. If you're willing to talk about it, let me know. We'd love to chat about it, or just maybe I'll catch
I think it
up
was
with
dumb,
you.
but I don't think you should have got fined for it.
Yeah, I mean, 2,500's a lick, my guy. Y'all be like, hey, you're gonna have to add $50 to my next 12 races before I can afford that, my guy.
Shit. That's what I told them at Brainerd when they made me sign a little book. I hold down the shutdown.
Yeah.
They brought me the first one's a warning.
Oh, yeah.
Which I guess, who's to say they didn't give him a warning beforehand? I don't know.
That's what I'm saying. I don't know. So I'd love to know the story because I saw multiple people posting about it, but interesting take. And yes, Robbie, there are some rules. The muffler rule in Super Street. The Super Street rule where you had to wear all your stuff regardless at one point, I thought was pretty crazy. When I first got into stock, I didn't know that under M, anything faster than M, you had to wear race pants. Dude, I showed up to the first one with like black nylon basketball pants. And I was like...
It was... Super stock was like J Automatic. You had to wear your neck collar and everything.
Yeah.
But I went 1030s and the 999 and quicker was the deal.
Right.
And so I fought that, okay? Maybe that's why they didn't like me. Well, that is why I was an asshole.
Yeah.
Still am.
Yeah, I was like, wait a second. There's all shit.
I just didn't.
Shout out.
I said, you're going to throw me out because I'm going 1030s in a jacket, pants, and helmet.
There is no one I love more on the NHRA Tech squad than Danny Estep. My guy, Danny, there's no blurred lines. Outside of the racing, Danny is the best. He is the best. When he is at the head of the lines, you better be in your car and pulled up or he'll whoop that ass. I've seen him get in the car. I'm like, my guy. And so I get it. I like I said, they are being paid terribly. They should be paid so much more money than they're being paid. NHRA has the money. It's bullshit. They should be paid. So, if that's what causes some of that, let's just pay them. And Walt said, boy, we don't need people complaining about NHRA house cars. Let me tell you something.
Ain't nobody going to complain about NHRA house cars. They know better than NHRA going to give somebody something. Get the hell out of here.
NHRA has 700 house cars every weekend. They make us put their decal on the car. That's 700 house cars in the facility.
Yeah. And the pros don't pay an entry fee.
Right,
so
exactly.
They're house cars.
No, that's good stuff.
Go
ahead.
What were you just talking about? Because I was
Danny Eastep getting in somebody's ass.
Oh, Danny Eastep.
Yeah,
the first national event I ever won.
Yeah,
was Bowling Green.
Yep, in drag.
And I had this is actually pertaining to what we're talking about.
Didn't have the safety equipment correctly, I guarantee it.
Let's just say that the topic that we were just on about Indy.
Yeah,
we don't know the full story, and
Sure.
that's what that was about.
Yeah.
Anyways, so I had all the roll bar padding.
Yep.
But I'd cut it. I'd been bracket racing, so I'd
yep.
cut it right here.
Yep.
And I mean, it was a normal kid thing. I had
Sure.
I had the pad, but I cut it, so it was technically not working. So third or fourth round, he's like, "Fix it."
Yep.
And I said, "Okay." And I was still doubled. So and I'm scatterbrained
Never
anyways.
fixed
So
it.
by the time I got back to the trailer, forgot. But and then by the time I saw Danny again is when I remembered. And so he wasn't I had it, so he wasn't
Sure, but it's just I get it, man. They're just trying, and it's a protocol
he was right.
thing. Yeah, 1,000%.
And
Look,
Dan, me and Dan were buddies, but in the semifinals, he was like, "Listen,
if
you come back up
here,
I will throw your fucking ass out."
Yeah,
in the finals of a
100%.
national event.
I
was like, "Yes, sir."
Danny gets it, man. And I think that's the thing is I'm cool with the enforcement as long as it's they tell me first and I don't, because I'm not going to read the rule book back. Look, I'll straight up tell y'all, I didn't know loose ballast was a thing. I've never heard that term in my life. My first NHRA race, first one in stock. Obviously, I'd run other classes. First one in stock. I run under the index. I'm super yoked, right? I'm like, hell yeah, I went 1250, index is 70. I don't care. Fuck. I go through the scales. Nah, dog, you're light. Well, fuck, that sucks. Then I go to my trailer and put my alternator belt on. I also didn't know at this time that alternator belt slowed you down. I didn't know any of this. So first off, I got to figure out the weight situation. Well, I buy a belt. I put the belt back on. I go to Kmart, the last Kmart in Indianapolis, I think. And then I had to have them plasma cut these. I had to buy dumbbells. They didn't have weight or ballast. I don't know anybody.
You did all this?
Yes, I don't know a single soul at Indy.
I'm proud of you.
So I go to Kmart. I was probably 50 pounds short maybe. So they don't have dumbbells. They have dumbbells. They don't have pallet of weight. They don't have that. So they cut them. So I had them plasma cut these dumbbells. Well, my weight box can't hold all these dumbbells, right? So I've got 2 dumbbells in my weight box. And then I put the rest in my laundry bag and put the laundry bag behind my seat.
This is why we have rules.
So I have, no one has ever, NHRA obviously didn't check me, but my friends are like, what are you doing? And I was like, this is just my dirty clothes. What do you mean?
Right.
They're like, you cannot have loose ballast. And I'm like,
yeah,
brother, I can't run the index. What are they going to tear me down? Like, I don't, at this point, whatever. Yeah, man. Like I said, the rules are the rules for a reason. I appreciate being told them after the fact. Definitely give me a warning. Let me know. There's stuff that Travis got on me about, hey, you've got to have this panel or this, that, and the other. And I'm like, cool, dude. I don't know that unless you help me understand that up front. And they're always
that
cool
is
about
my
that.
thing.
Yeah, they're cool about that.
And they've definitely gotten way better.
Yeah.
As I've got older and less problem. But, that was when I was younger, it felt like there was never a, hey, bud, let's talk about this real quick. There was guys, I don't know, I think, there was a guy who was kind of reddish hair, not the Joe that they have now, but there used to be a guy that worked D3, and he was always he checked stuff and he wanted it to be right, but he would always tell me, hey, come here, let me show you something.
Sure.
And that was cool.
Yeah, I appreciate that way more.
I can remember the attitude from one of them, and he was like, you can go ahead and take this back home.
Yeah. I will say, I went,
I don't know.
I went through scales at Belrose, and Walt, who's the, Walt will tell me, or who's the older guy? Wesley, right?
Yeah.
So
he's like the guy.
Yeah. I rolled up my window and the tape had fallen off O. for super stock.
Yeah,
Right? I have
God.
MNO. My
Yeah.
guy, I'm like, oh, hey, man.
Pack your shit.
I said, hey, the tape fell off. He's like, listen. And I was like, no. I know what you're going to tell me. He's like, listen. And I was like, all right, Mike. I didn't have my camera on because that definitely would have made the video. I'd be like, me getting yelled at by a random NHRA official who I don't know. Excellent. And then I proceeded to win class, and I was like, give me my trophy, Wesley. What's up?
Yeah. And it's for N.
Yeah, it's for
N.
Good shit.
Yeah.
All right.
See, that's why they get mad at us right there.
I know. All right, moving on. I do just want to briefly hit on DragCoverage's Drag Fest. It looked like they fought weather all weekend, and they managed to get it done at Gulfport, man. They had a shit ton of people there. Big shout out to TJ Pruitt. Obviously, I think the world of TJ. I think he's done so much for the sport
TJ
too.
works really hard for this.
Yeah.
Mhm.
He
works
really does.
hard on it.
Yeah, and so he's got like 2 events a year that he does. He has some big ones, and I know they handed out some
It
winners
was
checks.
Atmore, wasn't it?
Huh?
It used to be at Atmore. It
Yeah,
was
this one
what's his other
specifically-
one? The
no,
Night
the-
Under Fire or whatever.
The other
It
one's
used
at
to be,
Alabama.
That thing's huge.
Yeah, and that's the
Yeah,
one he
it's
has
huge.
at Alabama International, right? I think.
Mhm.
Um,
Okay. Yeah, Steel. It's
Steel, that's right. But yeah, man, I saw Johnny Ezel won the bracket class. They got a bunch of pro mod stuff. They got some. I don't think it's Pro Tree No Time, but I think they have something similar to that, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Either way, they had some pretty cool cars. I saw a lot of the footage, like I said, just because I follow Drag Coverage. They post a ton. So shout out to TJ and the folks at Gulfport for putting that on, man. Looked like a good time. And then PDRA at VMP, man. PDRA, I just, first off, want to give a big shout out to, I don't know Fletcher Cox, but I think it's cool as shit that we talked about this, right? Other athletes that have run and all that. My guy was getting it done. Like, he put down like a lot of laps.
I did see a couple highlights. I try to watch some
Yeah.
PDRA stuff, but I mean, he went like low 4.0s in Pro Street or something.
Yes, and he lost to, I think he lost in the semis. Ethan Stedding went 394. He won. I think Stedding. I said Stedding. He won Pro Street. Jeremy Huffman won Pro Stock. Kurt Stedding, so the Stedding family got it done. He won Pro Boost. And then Marcus Butner won Pro Nitrous. He went 363, but the fastest winner was Pro Boost, and he went 361. So
Okay.
I love, honestly, I wanted to bring this up because VMP or PDRA is on Flow, and I really, really enjoyed the coverage. The way that they do the graphics of who won, there has to be a plugin from CompuLink to their computer system for broadcasting, or they're on a 50-second tape delay and the guy is a really fast typer. I don't think that's true, but like, so what happens is they like flip the green based on who's winning down the racetrack. And I thought that was so sick. I was like
incrementally?
yes. So like the person who's at the 60-foot first gets a green, and then so on and so forth as
Whoa.
it moves down the racetrack and then goes to the winner, obviously, when the win light comes on. There is some sort of plug-in happening on this broadcast. I would love to know what it is, and I would love to talk to Motor Mania about doing it. Because I think it adds a... I'm not saying you have to have the names. Obviously, the names plug in. I don't know if that's separate or whatnot. We don't have to have that. But, like, the incremental would be sick to have as they're going down the racetrack. I think that's... I always love... I know a lot of, footage, they always do the video in, like, the lower third. And I think that's cool, but...
Are you old enough to, or like, not old enough, but have
Yeah,
you
I'm
been
plenty old
racing
enough.
NHRA long enough to remember the iCard?
No, what's an iCard?
Oh my God. Look, I know Ray will know it, Wald will know it. So this thing, okay, I was like 5 years old, but I remember it because I swear I just found one in my dad's trailer like 5 years ago. So you took a Game Boy or a Nintendo
Okay,
thing,
yeah,
right?
it's a game. Yeah.
You stuffed this thing in there,
Yes.
and it was the timing system. Like,
That is,
Well,
it was
like-
a cartridge-based timing system.
yeah, but I think it didn't have any like delay.
Wow.
Like Michael Iacono won the All-Stars. He does the video like 2011-ish, 2009, I think.
Okay.
But you can see when he crosses the finish line, he grabs it. He's got a Game Boy.
Yeah.
He grabs it out of the passenger seat in the shutdown, and he's looking down at it, because it's got the iCard with the antenna hanging out. Yeah, but I don't like. I'm sure the
Okay.
reason
Well,
that they ended
I
up
don't.
going out.
I don't know if I need it, but I need to have it for
yeah.
my collection of shit. We've got to find one of these. If you are a
Yes.
listener and you
I
have
think
an
I got one.
iCard available, with the Game Boy. I need it. I need to see it. Walt,
badass.
that's pretty cool, man. It didn't tell you, so there was like real time. You knew what you were going on the racetrack, and you'd be looking at my Game Boy and be like, "Well, he's fucked."
So I don't. That's kind of the point. I don't know because like I think back then nobody thought to grab it and look. This is 20 years ago almost. If not, it was 20 years ago. But I can't remember. Crazy. But it was definitely fast enough that like in the shutdown before you turned off, your data was
you could see it. Yeah, I got to find one of these, and I need it for my collection. Obviously, I love retro gaming. I watch a lot of retro gamers on YouTube, like their collections and stuff. That would be a sick like thing to see and then have for my collection. That would be really cool. Damn, I don't know about this. I think maybe I'd like heard, but I have no like recollection of it at all. So that's pretty dope.
Happened.
All right. Well, VMP at there, and then we talked about the Twin 50s. So a lot of things going on.
They grabbed the Game Boy in high gear.
Yeah, I know people who shifted high gear. That is wild, and I absolutely need it. Yeah, we're gonna have to. I'm gonna investigate that shortly. All right, it's that time again, baby. Combo of the week. What do you got for me?
I think we might have talked about it. Now, I wanted to talk about the winner in St. Louis.
Well, let's do it. I can pull them up right here.
I can't remember which race it was.
So Brian Stufflebeam runnered up the second race. I'm trying to pull up the winner thing here again. Hold on one second. All right. So comp eliminator on the first race was Scott Linder with a 04 Grand Am Rare Morrison 698. I assume that's like a pro stock motor or something. Or what is
698?
That? No, I mean like a mountain motor deal.
Sorry. Hammer, yeah.
We
can talk about that one.
He went 658 on a 716 index in the final, so he never even tagged his index. That's pretty cool.
He's been fast too. Like, well, obviously, but that's A altered, which B altered is.
Yeah, it doesn't tell me what the class is. So
yeah,
okay,
it's A altered. So that's like, weight per cubic inch or whatever, pound per cubic inch.
Super stock setup, yeah.
Yep. Except so basically instead of having the horsepower factor, they just go off cubic inch and comp.
Yeah.
But it's a 698 inch it's a 698 inch mountain motor car, and they run it in comp, and he's actually been competitive for I don't know, a while. I've started since I've been racing. I've always liked the car and watched it. It's blue and yellow. You've seen it.
Okay. Yeah.
But it's amazing to me that Comp Eliminator, like, if you don't have to understand comp in the way that the indexes work to fall in love with it. Okay.
Yeah.
You literally, like, bracket racers, how they don't love, like, how all big money bracket racers don't love comp blows my mind because, we've got a 700 inch 5-speed Grand Am and a 4-cylinder dragster.
Yeah, it's badass, man. You're talking about the cool. Just like contrasting in cars. Grand Am's took the weekend. 05 Grand Am won on the second race, but he's got the opposite. He's got a splayed valve 316 modified motor. Went 761 on a 814. That was Matt Harris, and like I said, he beat Brian Stufflebeam in the final. So
there's another Harris too. I don't know if it's his sister or if they're
related.
There's a family member. Yes, I don't know what the relationship is. She drives a 5-speed too.
Oh, so that's badass. We'll have to look
Christine.
into that. All right. Well, this is our topic of the week here outside of the headlines. It is experimental, super stock, and other wild NHRA classes. I think a lot of people.
I love that.
Go ahead.
Yeah. Well, I was just going to say, after our factory GT conversation last week, we get another brand new factory GT car. Billy Rose got the fucking stick shift.
Oh
Pinto.
yeah, you sent. I wish I should have posted the picture here in the chat. It's pretty cool. I think, like I said, super stock classes, the availability, and that's why we wanted to talk about experimental. I only have known Alex Miller to ever drive an experimental, and my first NHRA stock race at Indy, there was a Honda 2000 that ran a experimental.
Gary Bales was running super stock then, I think.
Is that what it was?
Gray. It was charcoal gray.
Yes, so sick, and it would go like 780s or something.
Yeah.
I was like, holy shit, this is
I think it was DX, and it was a 4-cylinder.
It was okay, it may have been it too. But that's such a sick, like the thought of that. So let's break down just a little bit. Experimental is weight per cubic inch, not 8-cylinder stuff, right?
Yeah, I think so. Like, I really don't know.
Sure.
And I'm pretty sure you can run tube chassis cars in it.
You can. That's so Alex Miller had
Okay.
this like
Yeah, that was
like a Grand Prix or Monte Carlo.
Monte Carlo or Grand
Yes,
National, or
exactly.
like a thing. And
I'm gonna pull it up here.
the experimental car, like experimental cars of my lifetime. There's one guy that goes to the top of the list, and Tim Cole.
Okay.
It was like he had a C4 Corvette.
Oh, sick.
And he
already
ran.
in.
I think it was AX that he ran, but he he was competitive.
Yeah.
And cool guy. Used to come play cards with the group that, when everybody like would come over to each other's trailer and play cards and stuff.
Oh, very cool.
Tim was a good guy and had a really cool car. Like I said, was competitive. AX vet. Yeah. I don't even remember I was young. When he was really racing, I don't remember what the motor was.
Tim Cole had a badass, super stock AX vet. That's awesome. Okay.
Yeah. And I did see, Ryan said Matt Harris has a wedge motor.
Oh, okay.
Which is cool.
Got it.
Yeah. The wedge, I don't know. He'll know. I don't know if D altered is a wedge only class or not.
Okay.
But some of those are like you have to run a certain
cylinder head. Got it.
Mm-hmm.
Which is cool. And that's where I think the super stock thing, because you see a lot of like crazy combos from comp like fall into super stock, which is cool. What the NHRA, so here's an AI overview from Google. NHRA Experimental Superstock, or Factory Experimental, was a class created in 1962 for cars that were more radical than the factory superstock offerings. These cars were often built with factory-sourced, high-performance parts installed in lighter, smaller vehicles, allowing manufacturers to maintain involvement in superstock racing without the cost of a dedicated product. Origin and purpose, the FX was introduced to allow, I already said that, sorry. Examples, the Chevy Z11 option in 1963 wasn't produced in enough quantity to qualify as a superstock car, and that was a prime example that fit into FX. Now, obviously, in 1966, NHRA, 1966, NHRA moved the FX cars into experimental stock under the superstock banner. So that's pretty cool.
And then it must have expanded as far as rules go and stuff.
Yeah, obviously over the years.
Yeah. And what brought it up, I'm sure most people, if they paid any attention to St. Louis this week, was the Nova. And I
was he in? So he was in experimental. No.
Yeah, it's DX.
That's what. Move it down. There now, closer.
Oh God, hold on.
You're so close. You're almost there.
Let me just change this thing.
Zoom in. Yeah.
Just make sure this thing works here.
Okay. Nope. To the left. Okay. There you go. Yeah, that's cool. And so that was an experimental.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure it had a stick in it, and V6. But I've been kind of watching this. It was on one of the Nova Facebook pages that I pay attention to. He was posting this thing.
Yeah.
But it is. It's something different. You don't see a lot of them. Joe Buchanan's ran a Ford for years, the Mustang.
Yes, I did know that they have the blue Mustang in AX or B. He's in DX, right?
I guess they do. It is blue. It was silver.
Yeah.
But
so they have two of them. They have
like
the blue
superstock car.
They have two of them. They have two, but maybe the blue car is not a superstocker. Maybe it's just the silver one, like you're talking about.
Yeah, and AJ's got a couple Mustangs too, so I get lost. But that's the thing. Like the cars that have been running it for a few years or like for a long time. Like Joe doesn't look like it's not a real radical car.
Yeah.
But this one is pretty trick.
See, I think that's such a cool thing, man. I think, like I said, Superstock just has that ability to be a little different. Beat Terry Snyder in round 2 with an SS BX with a Trailblazer motor. Hey,
what that motor is?
If anybody wants to run BX, boy, do I got a deal for you. My dad's got 2 Trailblazer motors that are apart right now, ready for y'all to buy.
You might run comp with those.
We got 2 of them. They're apart. There's nothing wrong with the block. Obviously, and the heads they have not been molested, but I think it spun a main or something.
They do that a lot
out of his street car or whatever. But yes, but we're happy. If you got, I'll make you a deal on two Trailblazer motors, man. They got less than 100,000 miles on both. So let's play make a deal. They're sitting on an engine stand right now at my dad's shop.
They're like this big.
Yeah, it's super wild.
That's what made me sell it.
Yeah. All right, man. Well, that's experimental. And I think some of the other classes, like I said, with NHRA, there's just been some crazy ones. I think the new one with obviously not the Factory X class, I think is really cool. the body style. They've done NHRA.
Yeah.
I do think NHRA wants to innovate. I just think, to their
They're
point,
limited.
it costs a lot of money to do
So-
innovation things like that from a factory perspective.
Costs a lot of money. They don't have a lot of manufacturers behind it.
Right.
There's no manufacturers wanting to spend money. Like, Pro Stock Truck was amazing because it was affordable
Yeah.
for some of your, diehard sportsman guys.
Yeah.
And you had, 3 different manufacturers or whatever, or 4, I guess.
Yep.
And now, like, say they wanted to do Pro Stock Truck right now. First off, you're talking a lot of R&D just to get bodies. And then how many manufacturers are really going to get involved, because none of them are in.
Well, see, that's the thing,
right
is
now.
like Dodge is entering in NASCAR Truck Series again. So Dodge is obviously interested in the racing thing. There is capabilities for
something
them
like
with the
that
Ram.
doesn't-
Like, why don't
Yeah.
we have, like, hey, we're going to let you use NHRA bodies, or I'm sorry, we're going to let you use NASCAR truck bodies on now we're going to have Pro Stock, but it's going to be NASCAR bodies with something. I'm just saying, like, if
We
you're,
redesign those.
well, you know what my point being is. My point is like, there's availability. Cadillac is introducing an F1 car. Let me just be real clear with everybody. Racing is alive and well, and the manufacturers want to spend the money. There's a reason they're not spending it in NHRA. There's a reason Toyota's leaving, guys. It has
Well,
nothing
maybe
to do
if
with
we had
racing.
Pro Stock Truck, they wouldn't leave. Maybe if
Damn,
we had
could you imagine a Tacoma?
the
We talked about
358.
this. We need a Tacoma.
Yeah.
Make it happen, Toyota.
And it definitely is supposed to have a 358-inch small block and a 5-speed.
We can make that happen. We'll look into that.
But the motor, like, they had the Factory X thing's a great idea. They just there's nothing, like, they can only do so much.
Yeah.
They gotta there needs to be other people involved with it. And Pro Stock Truck cost what a really good Super Stocker did, or really good comp car. These Factory X cars, they're over $250,000.
Yeah, you're talking Pro Stock budget at that point. So
I want 10 race cars, not that. When I race 6 races a year.
I want 10 race cars too. I'm with you.
Now, if it was this, if it was in the, like, obviously not what Pro Stock Truck cost 25 years ago, because that's not possible now. But if it was like that made sense to people.
Yeah.
Okay. Like, ain't nobody trying to, it's not possible. So
we'll see. We'll see what happens. Obviously, we're going to keep racing. So, that's kind of my theory behind it. I'm going to keep going.
I ain't stopping.
Well, everybody, we did it. We made it. Tyler had some issues, but we made it. Episode 14 here at the BE00TAKE00 show. We covered a lot today, Tyler. I felt like this was pretty good. We got a chance to vent and talk a little bit about racing. Are you excited for this weekend or what?
I am. This was good. This was good to, like, take a hour and a half break.
Yeah.
Or an hour break, whatever we did here.
Yeah.
From it. Like I said, I could tell when I got on, I was still like,
a little spun out.
Worked up, and I've been trying to work, like, anybody who's been to my races knows, like, and these weeks I'm hell to deal with.
Sure.
Okay. And I get, just really anxious and just wanting everything to go right. When you have a racetrack, you get 40 weeks a year to mess up and do good and mess up and do good. And
you can bounce back quickly.
Yeah. Like, you could, if you take the average, people say they had a good time.
Yep.
We get 4 chances.
Yep.
You get 4 swings a year.
Yeah, that's right.
So, it's hard, but I've been trying really hard to just, I've got a great team with everybody, and, you, and I text you. Listen, I couldn't tell you. That's why when you say we, I do think of it as we.
Sure.
I've texted Jeb 87 questions today that racers have asked me that I didn't know the answer to.
Yep.
And, I have an idea. I asked you if it was possible.
Yeah.
Like,
I think that's the thing for us. It's a team effort. Yeah, it's a team effort. Everybody kind of complements each other well, and we've all worked together now on a lot of different stuff, which is really cool. I think that's kind of the best part, because we all have different vantage points of different things that we've all done to bring to it. And I think you and Brian,
but we've all been there together.
Yeah. And I think you and Brian obviously have the best idea of how big money race works. You guys have run the million. You've all done that. Whereas, like, Jeb and Derek know how a professional race looks. Like, Derek's worked for NHRA, and Derek has worked for for PDRA forever, and Jeb has run national trails and has run NHRA races now. So I think everybody has and I have the vantage point of like, hey, how can we make this entertaining? And Megan has the know-how to like make a write-up correctly, and Shauna and your mom and everybody. It's definitely a team effort, which I think is really cool because everybody plays their role interestingly enough. And it should be good, man. St. Louis, if you guys are listening, don't forget to tune in Motor Mania TV on YouTube. We are live all weekend. We've got the new Roamer camera with myself as the host. And Tyler's going to join me, and we're going to talk. We're doing it. We're going to make it. It's going to be the most entertaining race that you've ever seen at St. Louis, potentially.
I'm excited. I know with what you're doing and the idea we came up with today, like this is normal me. Okay.
Yeah.
Yesterday was Monday of the race week. So it's time for me to come up with all these ideas the week of the race that cannot really happen, but we're going to do it anyways. And so like I like to pick one thing that I'm super like
pumped about,
excited to work on.
Yeah.
So I'm excited about all the things that you're doing this week, honestly.
Yeah. We're excited about the dragster. Don't forget, we're going to start Thursday with the folk race cars warm up Thursday. The dragster looks awesome. If you guys haven't seen it, race
I'm gonna
TV
go finish
promotions.
it after we finish this phone call.
That's it. Awesome. Well, thank you everybody for joining us. Thanks for engaging with us today's listeners. We appreciate you guys live. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. And until next week, guys, this is the B00 Take 00 show. I am PJ North. That is Tyler Bohannon. Until next